Hello and welcome to today's reading. Welcome if you are new and welcome back if you've been here before. My name's Zoe and this is a timeless reading for whenever you come across this. I just wanted to say, has anyone else been experiencing a really extreme energy lately? I definitely have. I've been getting way more guidance from my higher self, my ancestors, and yeah, the last few weeks have been pretty intense. I've been journaling, making a lot of notes, and having a lot of ideas. And I'm trying to think of something where I can put something out, maybe like a workshop together or a group where we can go through like a transformation journey together. Um, and I'm trying to get some, some ideas from people on what they most want help with their journey, with their journey of transformation, their spiritual gifts. Like, what kind of things are you hoping to, empower yourself with? What kind of things are you hoping to release or let go of? Because I think community can really help this. And the more and more guidance I keep getting, it's to put together a group or something where we can help each other on our path, because I feel we're always learning and we're always teaching, whether that's just by sharing knowledge with friends or doing things like this where we, watch tarot readings. I think we're all in this, together as a collective. And those of us that are waking up, I really think it's really helpful if we have people to bounce ideas off, or just people to help us through this, because I don't know about you, but many times throughout this journey, I felt quite alone a lot of times. So, because not everyone necessarily around you is going through the same processes. So, if you are one of those, if you'd feel happy to share in the comments, if you would be interested, or I'm going to put together a form of some questions to ask, so to kind of help with my structure of the workshop that I put together. So yeah, if you have any ideas or anything that you're particularly struggling with that you'd like help with, please put that below in the comments. And let's get back to the reading. So today, the theme we have is the Ace of Pentacles, and crossing the theme, we have the Ten of Swords. So from this, I would say, as it's an ace, it's a beginning. So it's a new beginning. And obviously, as it's the pentacles, it's something to do with the earthly realm. But as you can see, there's a hand being held out. To me, this kind of like looks like it's from spirit, from the divine. So this is, with our earthly life, we're being offered a new direction, a new gift, a new enterprise, something that is going to help us with our continual development whilst we're here on earth. I would say, this could come through, although I think it's coming from the divine, this can come through in the form of like communication or something from a person, maybe an idea or a download that you receive. I would say this is a new beginning, whether that's like romantically, but I feel this is more driven towards like your purpose and maybe your direction of life, and maybe career or hobby, something like that, that's really going to bring you a lot of joy. As we have the swords influencing this theme, I would say there is something about, as we've got a nature scene here, I'd say getting out of the mind and getting into nature, being grounded, is going to help this process, because with the Ten of Swords here, I'd say there's been something heavy weighing you down. I'd say this is ready to be let go of. Obviously, as it's a 10, this is like the end of a chapter, the end of a cycle. And obviously, as the person in this card, obviously, they're not getting back up again. This isn't like a physical death necessarily. This is more of a death of a part of self, or a death of a limiting belief or behavior pattern. It's crossing this theme. So there's something that's ready to be let go of, that's part of our journey, part of our cycle of development, because we go through all of these different cycles while we're here, so many different processes. And this one that's, it's swords of the mind. This is something that's ready, to be let go of. I'd say this could be like negative thinking, negative expectations, maybe on something that you're hoping for that is going to be a new beginning, but you're worried about it, you're having doubts, and this has been going round and round in your mind. But I'd say by you becoming aware of this, helping, you recognizing this and then knowing what this is, whether this is a physical or a mental blockage. I would say, it's by becoming aware and by recognizing it, um, you can let this go. So any negative thinking, whether it's fear of your path ahead or it's any destructive thoughts, the fact that you're kind of becoming aware of this now, I would say, is going to help you with your path forward. The conscious thoughts about this is the 10 of Wands, so another 10. So again, I'd say another end, but another difficulty. So it's still, you're still thinking about, this is being thought of because this is our conscious thoughts. So I would say there's been some impact to your, to your thinking because of this burden or emotional blockage, that could be blocking your intuition. This is going to be coming because this is the theme, and also it's the future card as well. So I think this is doubly potent. The fact that we have two Ace of Pentacles, which is why I like to use more than one tarot deck, because you do get like repeating cards, and I think that really helps clarify our message. But I would say, we've got two tens here, so two ends of, ending of a chapter. And obviously these aren't always thought of as the nicest cards, but the recognition of our shadows and any emotional blockages that we have allows us to integrate this and allows us to move through this. So it's only through the difficult times, the painful times, these lessons that come to us, they are here to serve us. They're not, it's not for, to punish us, although sometimes it feels like that. These things are here to kind of highlight to us the things we're ready to let go of, the things we're ready to integrate, so we can kind of be more in, this energy of the priestess. So I would say the fact that both of these are tens, these are going to come to the, unless they've already come to the end now and you've already integrated these and you're already ready for this beginning. I would say, if you haven't finished this cycle yet, this is coming to a close now. So it's also with the 10 of Wands, if you're repressing any feelings, or you're repressing something you want to say, or you're repressing your desires, you may be having a fear of this new path ahead, something that's going to really light you up. Maybe you haven't expressed this to people around you yet, or your family, or maybe you're in a work situation that you don't want to be in anymore, and you don't yet feel ready to communicate this or leave. But I think there is something within you that really does want to leave, and whether you haven't communicated that yet, maybe just write it out, say it to a friend, get it out, because the more you let that, let anything out that you're holding within you, by not repressing this anymore and expressing yourself, this can help you move forward. I think it's it's a small, it's a blockage that needs to be cleared, but it's through you recognizing that you will do this. So unconsciously, we have the Six of Cups. So these are unconscious thoughts about this situation. So I'd say beneath the surface, there may be a feeling of you wanting more joy in your life or more pleasure, or doing things that just are for fun. And I'd say this is something that wants to rise up. And I'd say by doing this, by having pleasure, you're going to, get over this a lot easier. When we're in a negative thinking state, our mind can loop and then we just stay in that energy. Whereas if you allow yourself to have some fun, maybe reminisce, because this can also be the card of looking back at childhood memories. So in the card, there's a lot of colour and roots underneath. So the roots, going back to your roots. So there may be an aspect of your inner child that wants to be noticed. So this could have something to do with your future ahead. Maybe, as this is unconscious thoughts, it might be something you're not aware of yet, because obviously it's below. But with this card, there's the tree above with the roots are so colourful, but the tree is black and it looks like it's in shadow. So maybe there is a shadow aspect which relates to these two cards, where it's impacting you to move forward. But I would say sometimes we can look back and, like, if you think about your childhood and things that you used to love to do, things that you used to find pleasurable, things that you used to find fun, by tapping into that side of yourself, it can help you, quiet this mind with all of these negative thoughts, beliefs, and maybe limitations, and tap back into that inner child. When there was just infinite possibilities that you didn't really think too far ahead. And I think that can be the problem sometimes. We are anxious about the future. We're thinking negative things about the past, and then we're not allowing ourselves just to be present. So I would say, looking back at the things you used to love to do when you were a child, where you were always present, because you would be like, oh, I want to dance, or now I want to run, now I want to climb a tree. By you just doing those things that you felt like, it kind of just kept you in the present moment, in the here and now. So I'd say tap into this part of yourself, because I'd say by remembering the things you used to do, it can help you kind of maybe do some new things now, or things you used to do, just for fun, just to allow that inner child to play. Because I think a lot of the times we get bogged down with expectations of how we think things should be, that we forget about all of the things we already do have. Ace of Pentacles, that's inner and outer richness, success. So there is a lot of this. You probably have a lot of this already in your life, but maybe you're not focusing on it. Maybe you're only focusing on the lack and the things that you don't have. So I'd say, tap into that inner child. So in the past, or that which is about to end, is the priestess, like the high priestess. So I would say from this, you've been doing a lot of inner work. If you haven't been, then I'd say you're going to be doing a lot of inner work. This is about like having a period of rest. This, the priestess, she receives that divine guidance, not by action, not by doing, but by allowing that, that consciousness to come from above, to come from within, to be guided by her inner knowledge and her inner knowing. It's not about looking outside of yourself for answers. It's about going within and allowing the divine or your inner guidance to rise up and become conscious. Because, this card, it's got a lot of abundance in it, with the grapes and the flowers, and I think that's a camel. There's a lot of abundance here on earth to be had, and you create that abundance with co-creation from the divine. So if you've been hoping for any clarity or assistance or ideas to come through that's going to help you on your journey, I would say this is a time to allow that inner guidance to come up from within. 'Cause that's how the priestess, finds her guidance. She's overcome any destructive thoughts, and she has found that inner peace and abundance comes from within. I apologise for the rain. I hope you can hear me. So with the high priestess as well, it's her feelings from within. They're reflected on the external plane. So that's why I say all of this abundance is around her. It's actually house raining outside. Sorry, I had to pause for a second then. I don't know if you can actually hear me. It's house phoning out there. Yeah, it's kind of mad. Sorry, very distracting, but I love kind of extreme weather. When there's like yesterday, there was like thunder and lightning. I just love watching the different weather that we've been having. It's been mental in the UK. So as I was saying, with the high priestess, she's found that inner peace and abundance, that it does come from within, and your external environment is a reflection of your internal environment. So by going within and really tapping into your powers of perception, that can really give you the guidance that you need for this new beginning ahead. So as we've been talking about your future, we have the Ace of Discs, so the Ace of Pentacles again. So I would say, although there may be something that you know, that you're needing to let go of, or that you have already let go of and that you're integrating it. This, you know, that has been holding you back in some way with these kind of, you know, destructive thoughts, limiting beliefs, those kind of things. This card is showing that you are ready, that you are ready to live a life that feels abundant, you know, inside and out. I would say from this is knowing that you are already whole, you are already complete, and you already have, you know, all of that you need inside of you to create, you know, great success and, you know, wealth on earth. In this card, you might not be able to see it, but in the middle there's a symbol there that says 166, and this means completion. And we also have around here, it says to meta ophium, and that means in initiation or entrance. So from this, I would say you're entering a new phase where you're now ready for a life of abundance, you know, like the priestess. So I would say really, this is also about, you know, continual growth, continual development. You know, whilst we're here on earth, you know, that's what we're here for. It's, you know, we go through all these processes, and the more we do, the more that we integrate, the more that we learn about ourselves. You know, it's about remembering to let go of all of the things that we've been conditioned to believe. You know, deep down within, we are connected. We are all love, and we forget that. You know, the older we get and the more that we learn, it's about unlearning the things that don't serve us to remember who we are deep down within. And that is that, you know, that you are whole, you already are enough. You don't need people to validate you externally. And I've noticed that there's no court cards in this as well. So, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3 pentacles, you know, two wands. What? Yeah, so it's fairly balanced, and we've got 3, you know, 3 major arcana cards as well. So, you know, I love that this is going to be the outcome, is the sun. You know, the fact that we have 2 ace of discs, I would say this is a real time for, you know, it's going to be a time of success. It's a time of new beginnings, which is really exciting. But I'd say this has been holding you back. The future is looking amazing, and it is looking like it's going to be an amazing life of abundance and inner richness as well as outer richness as well. But, you know, your energy is the 5 of Pentacles. So this can be an energy of lack. So although there is wealth ahead of you, you know, the energy of kind of worry or an old story of lack, it's wanting to be released now. You know, this destructive thought pattern, you know, keeps you in that energy, and then it stops you moving towards your ultimate happiness. So, you know, you may have felt unworthy, or, you know, like you don't deserve what you really, really want in life. There may be people around you that are causing you to be in this energy of lack. But this is, you know, this new era of your life is going to fulfill you. You know, it's going to be a life of vitality and fulfillment. You know, like the high priestess, I would say, be in a moment and a time and a period of rest and stillness to really find your inner peace. Allow this energy to be released. So I would say it's ready to be released now, because what's going to be coming in is, you know, a new future, envisioning and planning, you know, your new journey ahead. So there is a new future ready for you to create once you've overcome, you know, the resistance, the doubts, and the fears. You know, once you do this, your mind will be clear to allow a new vision, or one you've already had before when you were a child, or a while ago that you may have put to the side due to limiting beliefs or fears. But something within you really wants to be expressed, or brought out into the world, you know, and it's ready to kind of go out there and be released into the world. Just remember, you know, you are the one who gets to decide where it is that you want to go. You know, so really let go of any doubts, you know, that you don't have what it takes, because you do have all you need within you for this journey. So I'd say this may be a good time for meditating, to find that inner stillness, that inner center, you know, being present, trying to get into the body. Get out of the mind. Try not to ruminate or worry or let thoughts loop in your mind. I'd say, by doing something physical or something, that takes you out of that mind, something you enjoy, something that brings you joy, whether that is getting together maybe with some friends, just doing some things for pleasure, I'd say is going to help this process to clear, so you can begin and your new journey or plan for this new journey. So the hopes or fears is represented by the Death card. So from this one, I would say, you may be fearing change because this is all about, change and transformation. We can all resist the new as it's familiar and it feels comfortable. But I would say, it's now time to put those old beliefs or attachments behind you. This can feel painful. He is destroying to make way for the new. So, it's cutting through all of those old fears, old limiting beliefs, old attachments that no longer can be brought forward into the new path and the new beginning. This is ready to be let go of now. It is painful, but it's going to happen either way. You can look at it as life happens to you or life happens for you. And this can represent external changes, whereas the Tower can be a lot about internal changes. This is a card of external change. So you can be the one to enforce that change through your choice. Or it can happen outside of you and cause you to go through this change. But either way, there is transformation that is taking place. It can feel pretty intense. But remember, just try to let go of any doubts or anything holding you back. Like I said, it can feel painful, but I'd say you want to create a new life. And if you're not consciously doing it, there will be something unconscious that happens. You'll create it, but probably unconsciously. If you're not going to do it consciously, it will happen anyway. Remember, the path always leads to where you're meant to be anyway. You're always where you're meant to be. But you can be the one to create and or destroy. So sometimes it's about destroying first to then create again and begin anew. So the outcome or the key, which I think is beautiful, is the Sun. So this is a beautiful energy of, fulfillment and enlightenment. And this is you remembering who you are at your core being in touch with your innocence and childlike wonder, like the children on the cards. I would say, being present and knowing that you have all you need within you. I'd say with the mountain there, it's like kind of knowing that there's always lessons to overcome. There's always going to be something to climb. But it's remembering, that you are, inside of you, you are love, you are freedom, you have that inside of you. By feeling that and you radiating it out into the world, what you put out, you get back. It's a card of like childlike wonder. There's all of the signs of the zodiac in here, and there's the Sun. We are all one, we're all connected, we're all part of source. And this is about, finding that within you. This can represent, there's one last thing to get over or integrate. But it's about, look what's happening now. Just be present. They're kind of dancing, they're putting their arms up to the sun, so they're appreciating what they have in their life. So I would say there is a time of, fulfillment and vitality coming, but it's about remembering to stay present in the present moment. Remember that you're on a path of, growth that is a continual development whilst you're here on earth. And it's okay not to have all of the answers, but that you can create the life that gives you the most fulfillment and joy, with spirit, one step at a time. I'd say sometimes these kind of negative feelings or feelings of lack can be because we feel we don't have everything we want in our life right now. This is remembering you have all that you need inside of you. It's not about, I think I'm trying to remember where I heard it, but basically about, manifestation, and that it's you are that manifestation. It's not when this thing comes, then I'll have this. It's no, you are it first. So if you want love, remember you are love. If you want freedom, remember you are freedom, because it comes from within, and then you radiate that quality and that feeling out into the world. And then you find that it starts from the inner and then it's reflected in the outer. So remember that you are one with all things, and that by just taking it back to the basics, the simple things, the simple earthly things on life, try not to be too wrapped up in lack and your thoughts and destructive fears and things like that. And just try and be present, do things that bring you joy and fulfillment, and be with people that you love. But this is a major transformation energy. But I'd say there might even be something new that you want to learn, something new coming in that is like, it is a new beginning, and it could be something that you gain some clarity on from this going within. But with the death card, with the snake on there, it is about major transformation. But remembering that you are the one that creates that path. So even if you are getting guidance or assistance from spirit, remember they're not going to tell you what you should be doing. They'll support you with your decisions that you make. So I would say you are gaining that clarity. There is a new beginning, and it's going to bring you a life of fulfillment. But remember, there's always going to be cycles. So even when you reach this, there's always going to be things to come in to test you. But you are stronger from these lessons you've already gone from. So the way you respond and the way you react is going to be a lot more grounded than say it was before. And really remember to keep in touch with your inner center, and allow your intuition to always guide you. And it is always you that's making this choice, on whatever it is that you want for your journey ahead. So we've got an angel number today, and that is 1414. Light up. Mood swings, respect, family, constructive outlook, quality. Focus on your needs, desires, and hobbies. Everything is more accessible with a light attitude. You will be blessed with new opportunities, a new friend, or an addition to your family. Good vibes will speed up the process. Yeah, so I'd say, try and get out of this energy. Try and be more, in this energy. And the animal spirit we have guiding us today is the unicorn, infinite possibilities. You are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness, go beyond the ordinary, and become the legendary. Oh, I love that. So I hope this has helped in any way today. Please share any reflections below, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you, and until next time, bye.